The 1992 Dream Team by Trevor Carlton. So to start off, I'm going to give you an overview of what this team is and what this PowerPoint is going to be about. So this was an Olympic USA men's basketball team in 1992. This was the first Olympics where NBA players were allowed to participate. Not only NBA players, but professional athletes from all across the world were allowed to participate for their select countries in basketball this year. And we felt like in the U.S. that this was a true way to show that, this is what our country's best is. Why can't we put our best players out there? So this was like a hindrance, not allowing pros to go to the U.S. or to the Olympics. And this proved to be a true statement because this team went on to dominate the whole tournament at the Olympics, and they say the Dream Team. It's the name of the PowerPoint, and they had some of the greatest basketball players to ever play. This team definitely changed the way that everyone viewed basketball worldwide because it influenced so many players from other countries to want to come to America and play NBA basketball. And these guys saw, these kids and young men saw the USA men's team athletes and were like, wow, these guys are amazing. And they wanted to shape their game and craft their game after these guys, and started an influx of international players into the NBA over the next few years, from 1992 on. Not really few, but just next years until now even. Luka Doncic, he's drafted number 3 in the draft this year. And you got players like Dirk Nowitzki. He's from Germany. He had a wonderful career with Dallas Mavericks. Well, he's still in the NBA, actually. I mean, he's in the end of his career, though. And then you also got, like, Dominique Wilkins. He's from France. Wasn't even from America. And he's arguably one of the greatest dunkers in basketball. Also, you got Tony Parker from Belgium. He a wonderful basketball player. Greatest point guard to play in the NBA for the Phoenix Suns. Same thing with Steve Nash. Amazing point guard. And this is just to name a few of the great players to come over from the international pool of players. So the roster is the whole region that's called the Dream Team. Now, they have Michael Jordan, a shooting guard from Chicago Bulls, probably one of the greatest players of all time. But not to go into any of that yet. But Scottie Pippen, he played for the Chicago Bulls. Magic Johnson, also for LA Lakers. David Robinson, he played for San Antonio Spurs. Patrick Ewing played for the New York Knicks at the time. Larry Bird for the Celtics. Clyde Drexler, he played for the Portland Blazers. Karl Malone and John Stockton were both teammates at the Utah Jazz. And then there was Chris Mullin at Golden State. And then also Charles Barkley. And he was in between teams at the time. He was going from the Philadelphia 76ers in his rookie contract, and he just finished up with that, and moving on to the Phoenix Suns. He had a great career there. And then also Christian Laettner, he was part of the team, and he was the only one player that was not a professional athlete. He beat out Shaquille O'Neal for that spot, actually. And he was the most decorated college athlete at the time, and the college basketball's best player. And just a wonderful, outstanding college athlete. And he went on to have a successful career in the NBA, like these other guys. And then there was also one tidbit of information about the selection of this team. So Isaiah Thomas was an amazing point guard for the Detroit Pistons, and there was controversy between him and Michael Jordan at the time because he'd took him out of some championships. Isaiah Thomas had, and he was a great NBA player. He was part of the team that started the Jordan Rule, and that was just basically to just be so physical to Michael Jordan that he could not do anything. And it worked. For 2 years they won and got NBA titles. But no one knows what actually was the reasoning, but they say that it was because Isaiah Thomas was not a good teammate or something. But that was said in Magic Johnson's book. He said that he did not. So Isaiah Thomas, he didn't work well with the others at the time, and it wasn't just because Michael Jordan and him had a dispute. But who really knows? But I just thought that was an interesting piece of information. So to share a little information on the team, it was consisted of the best basketball players from all over our nation. These all the players listed before on the previous slide were the NBA's greatest players at the time and most successful. And honestly, now looking back on it, they were some of the most successful basketball players of all time. And Michael Jordan, he's the most notable out of all of them. He was the best player in the whole world at this time, and arguably now he's still the best basketball player to play. Then you got Charles Barkley. These are just three of the top leading stats on the team. Charles Barkley, he led the team with points. He averaged 18 points per game. And they were very shocked by this, actually. They didn't expect him to average as many as he did. Then you got Scottie Pippen, who led the team in assists with 5.9 per game, which is surprising because of all the wonderful point guards. Magic Johnson actually was not too far behind him with 5.3. So then you have Michael Jordan, who led the team with steals with 4.6. And that's just a little summary of what's going on. In the next slide, we'll cover the full stats. I have a stat sheet on there. So here's a full stat list. You can see it's listed top to bottom by points. Charles Barkley had 18 per game. Michael Jordan averaged 14.9, basically 15. Karl Malone had 13 per game. Chris Mullin had 12.9. Clyde Drexler had 10.5. I mean, you're just going down the list. And actually, Magic Johnson had 5.5. Let's just to correct my previous statement with 5.3. He was actually 5.5 to come in second place for assists. But this is the full stat list of the Dream Team during the course of the Olympics and all 8 games they played in. And if you're wondering why John Stockton's is so low, he actually injured his wrist during practice and stuff during the Olympic when they were over there training, and he did not play as much. As you can see, he played in 11 games. So, and this required Michael Jordan to move over to point guard and play some point guard. So this is the team's road to gold, which goes from their pool play, and you can see USA versus Angola. That was their first game where they won 116-48. It's ridiculous. I mean, literally every game was won by 30 plus points, and just insane how good and dominant these teams were. I mean, you can see USA versus Germany 111-68. USA versus Brazil 127-83. USA versus Spain 122-81. USA versus Puerto Rico 115-77. USA versus Lithuania 127-76. USA versus Croatia 117-85. So I mean, you can see that this team was just so dominant, and this has never happened before because they never allowed professional athletes, and then our team came in there, and so like. It was an article about Charles Barkley. He said, you know, when our guys on the starting 5 came out, we weren't putting in amateurs. We were putting in more professional players, and that's when the talent drop off really happened. When other teams had to substitute their players, their 5 guys, their 5 best guys for what was their backups, which were not good enough to compete with the professionals that we were putting out on the court. And so this is a chart of Team USA's victories. So this is a little bit about the Olympics that they played in. This was the Olympics in 1992. They were held in Barcelona, Spain. This was a Summer Olympics, and this was the first one since the Cold War. And this is also the last one that was in the same year as the Winter Olympics. So this was a great deal of first times and last times, and started off a lot of things in the world. And lastly, the location of the game, like where they played the games and stuff at the Olympics, was the Pavelló Olímpic de Badalona. So this arena holds 12,760 people, and it was built a year before the Olympics, and then it hosted all the basketball events for men and women in the Olympics, and it actually still stands to this day and is used for a basketball facility. And then here is my sources, and also I did not know how to put a source in there from my television. It was so I put the actual movie that was in there, the IMDb title and everything that you can look up, and it's about the Dream Team and everything you need to know about them.